Okay, picture this. You've got a US Congresswoman, right? And she's in handcuffs inside a supermarket.
Yeah, barely even inside.
Exactly. And not for shoplifting or anything, just because of how she looked. It's pretty shocking.
It really is. And what happened after that? I mean, the chain reaction.
Yeah,
It took down a police chief, a judge, even the mayor. It's wild.
totally. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to dive deep into this whole incident, really unpack what happened.
Right. Get into the sources, figure out the core issues. Because it's more than just, one alleged case of profiling. It tells you a lot about power, prejudice.
And how corruption can just weave its way into the system.
Yeah, and the courage it takes to actually stand up to that. It's quite a story.
So let's set the scene. Oakwood Heights, our sources paint it as, well, very exclusive, lots of money.
Manicured lawns, fancy boutiques.
Very typical.
Get the picture. Where belonging feels kind of signaled.
Definitely. And right there is this supermarket, Berkeley and Row. Even the prices kind of scream exclusive. And into this walks Jasmine Crockett. Not, as Congresswoman Crockett with an entourage.
Nope, just a woman. Sources say a simple trench coat. Looked tired, maybe. From D.C. debates.
Yeah, and carrying this bag, it said, "Speak truth, even if your voice shakes."
Oh, wow.
She just wanted to buy some fruit. That's it. An ordinary errand.
But the atmosphere wasn't ordinary, right? Even before anyone really spoke to her.
No. The sources mention this. This palpable discomfort. Whispers, people staring.
Someone even filming her on their phone.
Yeah. And, she's in politics. She's probably used to looks, but this felt different. Like disapproval in that specific place.
That's a really unsettling tone from the get-go. How, unspoken bias just hangs in the air.
And that tension, it didn't stay unspoken for long. It boiled over pretty quick.
Enter the police, officers Mitchell and Harris.
Right. And the description of them, it sounds almost predatory, whispering to each other, sizing her up.
Yeah. And then that announcement comes over the store intercom. Situation in the fresh produce section.
So vague, so clinical, but it's clearly about her.
And Mitchell comes over. The sources say his tone was condescending, accusing her of what? Hanging around without buying anything.
Even though she had proof she'd only been there minutes.
Exactly. The parking receipt, 11 minutes. She showed it.
But Mitchell didn't care.
Nope. Just dismissed it. Demanded her ID instead. And then, this is key, he grabs her wrist.
Before she could even get her ID out.
Right. Physically grabs her. The apples fall. It immediately turns physical.
Wow. And Harris, just standing there.
Looming, yeah. Then the officer's reaction, just dismissive, mocking even.
Harris reads the Miranda warning, like it trying to intimidate her.
Totally. The sources describe it as mocking, and the manager pipes up.
Ah, the manager. What does he say?
The classic excuse, I'm just following procedure.
Chilling. Like that absolves him.
Right, but Jasmine fires back. She says, no, you're following prejudice.
Ooh, powerful. Cuts right through it.
Doesn't it? It really makes you think about how often procedure is just a cover.
And then the handcuffs.
Yeah, that metallic sound. In public. Humiliating.
Bro.
The sources say people looked away.
But not everyone. You mentioned someone was recording?
Yes. Jordan Carter, a journalism student.
Yeah.
Started filming secretly. Huge risk for him.
Absolutely. But crucial.
So important. Okay, so she's arrested. Despite the humiliation, the sources say Jasmine showed this, like in a resolve, silent defiance.
But the officers kept at it.
Oh, yeah. Harris makes some crack about her not looking like she belonged there. Just cruel.
And the manager.
Wouldn't even look her in the eye. Says a lot, doesn't it?
It really does. It shows how that prejudice was just accepted. And Jordan Carter, filming this, he knew the truth could just disappear otherwise.
Exactly. His recording becomes absolutely vital later.
Yeah.
Then they get to Precinct 18.
And the description of the place, kind of rundown.
Yeah, chip sign, dim lighting, and importantly, no body cams mentioned for the officers involved. Given who she turned out to be, that's telling.
Suggests a lack of oversight, maybe.
Could be. And inside, it gets worse. There's evidence tampering. Brazen.
What?
Officer Turner. Caught on the station's own internal surveillance, deleting video footage.
No way! From the supermarket.
Specifically mentions Market Main Aisle 141542, deletes it, changes timestamps, like it's no big deal.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just zero fear of getting caught.
Makes you wonder how often this happens, right? And it's not just Turner. Mitchell makes a call.
Who does he call?
Someone named Callahan. Captain, it seems. Mitchell tells him it's all handled, no cameras to worry about.
Wait, no cameras, but the student was filming?
They didn't know that yet.
Yeah.
Mitchell also says the report's going to a specific judge, Whitaker, implying he's, on their side.
So this wasn't just two rogue cops. This goes higher.
Looks like it. Coordinated. And Harris is filling out the arrest report.
Let me guess. It doesn't match what happened.
Not even close. Unidentified female, suspicious behavior, aggressive attitude, complete fabrication.
Wow. Jasmine must have realized then, this is systemic. The whole system is bending to protect itself.
Absolutely chilling. And then they overhear more. Mitchell calls Judge Whitaker directly. Calls him Mr. Whitaker.
Hardly.
Tells him everything's clean. Says the mayor Kensington knows and wants it wrapped up fast.
The mayor and the judge, this is huge.
Huge. Then they hear laughter from the captain's office, a reference to making this disappear like last year's gas station case.
So it is a pattern. They've done this before.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
The source material calls it an industrial process of wrongful arrests and cover-ups. Not isolated at all.
Just routine corruption.
Pretty much. And Jasmine is stuck there, in this cold room, taking it all in.
But she's not just sitting there passively, right? The sources say she was observing, memorizing.
For hours, every detail. She understood their arrogance, thinking she was powerless was their weakness.
And then she gets a chance.
A big one. Officer Turner leaves the desk phone unlocked. Just walks away for a minute.
And Jasmine knows what to do.
Yes. Her background. She's on the National Emergency Communications Committee. She knows codes, protocols.
So she makes a call.
The pivotal call. To her brother, Jeremiah Crockett.
Who happens to be?
U.S. Attorney General.
Wow. Talk about a plot twist.
Right. And she's quick, direct. Doesn't waste time. Names the names. Whitaker, Kensington, Callahan. Tells him how connected it all is.
And Jeremiah's reaction.
Instantaneous. The sources say he switched from brother mode to AG mode immediately. Furious, determined.
He must have understood the gravity right away.
Oh, completely. Starts issuing directives, DOJ, special teams activated, demands all files on Precinct 18.
He's not treating it like a local issue.
No way. He frames it as potential organized crime, a corrupt enterprise.
And the feds move in.
Fast and hard.
Yeah.
FBI, task forces, forensic techs. The description is dramatic. A convoy of unmarked SUVs pulling up to Precinct 18.
Must have sent shockwaves through that station.
You bet. Mitchell and Harris. Arrested on the spot. Abuse of power. Destroying evidence. Falsifying records. Collusion. The works.
The whole place gets locked down.
Sealed off. Federal agents start seizing everything. Evidence preservation is key.
And a federal agent takes charge.
Agent Eliza Monroe. Her first question, according to the sources, where is she? Meaning Jasmine.
Finding her is top priority.
Absolutely. Her release, it's described as quiet. Someone just unlocks the cuffs, almost like a silent apology from the system itself.
No fanfare, just freedom.
Yeah. And then Jasmine walks out, calmly, confidently.
Past the officers who arrested her, past Mitchell.
Right past them, head held high. There's even this mention of another officer, Lisa Carter, giving her this quiet nod, like acknowledging the wrongness of it all.
A crack in the blue wall, maybe.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
And then Jeremiah arrives. Her brother, the AG, protective embrace. Powerful moment.
So the cover-up failed spectacularly. What happens next? The trial.
Oh, yeah. A massive trial. National, international attention, intense scrutiny.
And Jasmine testifies.
Powerfully. The sources emphasize her detailed recall. Specific words, exact times, even file names she overheard. Just incredible memory under duress.
She said she remembered to survive.
That's the quote.
Yeah.
So poignant. And then Jordan Carter takes the stand.
The student journalist? With the video?
Yes. He presents the original unedited footage from the supermarket, but also he secretly recorded his own interrogation by police after they confiscated his phone initially.
Whoa. They interrogated him harshly.
Brutally, it sounds like. Trying to intimidate him, maybe destroy his evidence. Harris was involved in that too. His recording exposed that cover-up attempt as well.
The courtroom must have exploded.
Outrage, yeah. Irrefutable proof of the abuse and the lengths they went to hide it.
So the verdict?
Guilty. Long sentences. Callahan, the police captain, gets 32 years. Kensington, the mayor, 28 years. And Whitaker, the judge, 35 years, banned from practicing law forever.
Justice delivered. And the money, the assets tied to the corruption.
Seized. Transferred to a community justice restoration fund, to some measure of tangible repair.
And Precinct 18, what happens to the building?
It's transformed, becomes the Eleanor Community Justice Center, a place for education, civil rights history, turning a symbol of injustice into one of hope.
That's quite a turnaround. Are there specific programs there?
Workshops on discrimination, community relations, and that officer with a conscience, Lisa Carter. She ends up leading a program called Witness with Courage.
Wow. And there's a portrait of Jasmine there.
Yes, with that quote embroidered. They thought I would stay silent, but I chose to stand so others would no longer have to endure.
Amazing. What about Lisa Carter and Jordan Carter? What happened to them?
Their paths changed dramatically. Lisa Carter goes on to become director of a new National Police Oversight Bureau.
From inside Precinct 18 to national oversight, incredible.
And Jordan Carter, he becomes an investigative journalist for a publication called The Undercurrent, still chasing truth.
Their courage paid off.
Yeah.
And Jasmine, does she go back to D.C. full-time?
Eventually, maybe. But first, she returns to her community, teaches at a community law and justice center, focuses on making sure stories like hers aren't erased, keeping truth alive.
Why did she say she went back?
Her reasoning is powerful. Something like, because I was once handcuffed for doing nothing wrong, but no one can ever handcuff your memory.
That hits hard. The memory is the weapon against forgetting, against repeating history.
Exactly. And the impact spreads nationally. New school programs teaching the Precinct 18 story. Student podcasts like Cuffed but Not Silent. Justice isn't just a legal concept anymore. It's becoming part of the conversation for young people.
So really the big aha moment here is seeing how one single incident, which could have been easily swept under the rug.
Right. Dismissed as just racial profiling another Tuesday.
Yeah. It exposed this massive, rotten system underneath and actually sparked real change. It wasn't just exposure, it led to action.
Definitely. And for you listening, I think the takeaways are pretty clear. The power of just paying attention, of remembering detail.
And speaking up, even when your voice shakes, like her bag said.
Exactly. And the role of witnesses, like Jordan Carter. One person with a phone with courage can make a huge difference. It shows individual actions can challenge huge systems.
We hope this deep dive gave you some insight into just how tangled issues of justice and power can be, but also, the potential for positive change driven by individuals.
It really all started with something that seemed small, an assumption, an act of prejudice in a supermarket. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What small injustices are happening right now that maybe we don't see?
Yeah. What silences are we part of? And maybe what small truth can we dare to speak today?
Food for thought.
Definitely. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.